Hi, my name is Jasmine Walker, and my social issue is minimum wage. Okay, so to start off, minimum wage does not equal a living wage today. The federal minimum wage is not enough for people to afford basic needs such as like housing and food and other expenses that you need to live in America. And it is our duty to communicate to our government that we need to have it changed if we want it changed. And it's not fair that people are working 9 to 5 jobs and still can't afford to not be homeless or can't afford to eat. As most of us know, the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, and in some states they have raised it, but there's still 21 states who haven't raised it, and people who are living there are living in poverty who are working minimum wage. Back then, minimum wage could support a small family, and today it has proven that minimum wage can't support one person. But that's due to inflation. Back then, if the minimum wage was back to what it was in like 1960 something, minimum wage would still be able to support a small family, but it can't because it hasn't been raised consistently with inflation. Back in 2009, when it was set to $7.25 an hour, inflation has gone up 17% and minimum wage still hasn't changed. And we need to communicate that that's not okay, and it should be raised with inflation, or at least raised enough so people can live off of it and it can be a livable wage. And there was the Raise the Wage Act of 2019, but it didn't gain enough traction or attention to be passed yet. It was passed by the House of Representatives, but to become a law, it needs to be passed by the Senate and the President, and no further action has been taken for that bill since July of 2019. It's not going to pass if we don't communicate properly and use rhetoric and other forms of communication. We share common language, so we do have the ability to communicate that it's not okay and it needs to be raised so people aren't living in poverty. People argue that raising the minimum wage will cause an increase in unemployment, and that is simply just not true. Unemployment has actually decreased in the states where minimum wage was raised, so that is proven 100% incorrect. But the minimum wage does need to be increased so people can not live in poverty in America.